The wickedness within a seemingly innocent doll has been known to cause tremendous distress to some unfortunate souls. Appearances can be deceiving because beneath that cute exterior lurks an insidious presence, one capable of doing much harm. This is the story of Amelia the doll. Is Amelia just a regular doll, or is an evil entity possessing this sweet toy? I'll let you decide. Amelia the doll was discovered by curious viewers whilst being sold on eBay. She caught a lot of people's attention. It wasn't her appearance that interested people. It was actually the description that contained a so-called warning about the doll. It said, "This doll is not recommended for the weak at heart, or for any little kids to have in their bedrooms." Besides this bizarre warning, the doll also looked different from other dolls. She wore a cream nightdress with a pink rose in the center of her ginger hair. Her glowing green eyes pierced right through any screen, making the doll scary to look at. Eventually, her appearance and the terrifying description on the eBay auction caught the attention of one man in particular. His name is unknown, but he was a paranormal investigator, so he felt he, of all people, should be brave enough to buy the doll and welcome Amelia into his home. Feeling a little unsettled, he completed his purchase and patiently waited for this fascinating doll to arrive at his home. The morning Amelia the doll arrived at his house, the man had to go to work, so after unwrapping the box she came in, he placed her on the cabinet in his hallway. He was in such a rush to get to work that he didn't even give the doll a second look. He decided he would take care of the doll when he returned home, but Amelia the doll wasn't happy about the man's decision to leave her alone. As he closed the door behind him, a loud bang seemed to rattle his house. He went back inside thinking something had fallen, but he found nothing. He locked the door and left for work. He didn't think about it again until the next morning, when he left for work, and as he locked the door behind him, a loud bang shook his house once again. He unlocked his door and burst inside thinking someone or something was in his house. He looked in every room, but nothing seemed out of place. He locked his door cautiously and once again went to work. This mysterious and loud noise continued the next day and the days following, each time getting louder and louder. It wasn't long before he remembered that Amelia the doll had arrived at his house in the days previous. As he discovered the loud noise had begun on the day that Amelia the doll arrived at his house, things seemed to get worse. One night, as the man drifted off to sleep, his house seemingly came alive. Doors opened and closed, loud banging sounds echoed from room to room. Silverware rattled in their drawers, and eventually one deafening bang came from the hallway. The man sprung out of bed and ran to the hallway, thinking someone was definitely in his house this time. As he swung open his bedroom door, he was faced with an empty hallway. As he looked down, his stomach dropped. Amelia the doll was standing up on her own, with her back facing the man. He approached Amelia and picked her up, and still with her back turned to him, the sound of a child's laughing came from the doll. The man was frightened, but being a paranormal investigator, he was used to the creepy dolls making unsettling sounds. He brought Amelia the doll into his bedroom and placed her on his dresser. He had made a huge mistake by placing the doll's face toward his bed. It seemed he was so tired that he'd forgotten all about the warning that accompanied the doll. He was unsettled but went to sleep like it was nothing out of the ordinary. Minutes after falling asleep, he was woken up by the sounds of a child giggling hysterically. As he rolled over, he was faced with Amelia the doll. She was supposedly laughing and waving her left arm in a robotic back and forth motion. The man was horrified as he was faced with the glowing green eyes of Amelia, the terrifying doll lighting up the dark room. This is when he remembered the warning. not for any little kids to have in their bedrooms. Although he wasn't a little kid, he was rightfully petrified. The next morning, he contacted the seller and found out he wasn't the only one where unexplainable things started happening after he brought Amelia the doll into his home. The earliest known owner of Amelia the doll was a lady whose name is unknown. The doll was in her possession for less than a week, but this short-lived experience was far from normal. The doll's eyes were once blue, but as time went on, the lady noticed the doll's eyes had turned bright green and had an eerie glow to them. It's unknown how or why, but this doll's glass eyes had transformed completely, but the more she terrorized and haunted the innocent woman, the more her eyes changed. Later on, some people who were brave enough to visit Amelia the doll tried to see her eyes up close. They say that they were trying to see if the doll's eyes had been painted, but Amelia the doll left people feeling dizzy and unsettled if they dared to snap a shot of her eyes. The lady was woken up each night to the sounds of a baby crying. She would search her house from top to bottom, but never found anything. She was sick and tired of being woken up to such heart-wrenching sounds. The only explanation she could think of was that the doll didn't like to be alone. Trying to comfort the doll and hoping it would allow her a good night's sleep, the woman placed the doll in her bedroom, hoping that the noises would subside. What happened on that night is unknown, but whatever it was, as soon as she woke up, the lady put the doll in a box and put it up for auction on eBay. It's unknown what happened to the original Amelia doll, nor to the paranormal investigator who is the last known owner of it. But who or what was possessing Amelia the doll, and where on earth did she vanish to? It appears the horrifying story of Amelia the doll will always remain a mystery.